This podcast is brought to you by the word of the day. The word of the day is nepotism. Nepotism. We're going to talk about nepotism today on our wonderful little podcast here, so hold tight, everyone. I just like the ice cream.
God, can I not even say hello? Please, no. Go ahead, NJ.
Also joining us this week is Net Jester.
Hi, everybody. I make it.
Didn't need to know any of that yet. That whole sentence, I'm going to have to drink a copious amount of alcohol just to forget. Oh, all right, let's do something. Let's do something that everyone expects, and is more predictable than Roman Reigns. The news. The reaction to the Royal Rumble was strikingly mediocre, wasn't it?
You think?
The Royal Rumble strikingly negative. Reportedly after a surge on Monday, causing the stock price to jump to over $12 a share. Now, this is a misnomer as well. I read the particular press release for this, and basically they said that it's the same kind of numbers that you would put, 6 million people play World of Warcraft. This is 6 million unique accounts have been created. So 1 million unique accounts for the WWE Network have been created.
Which is not that great when you consider how many people watch WrestleMania and how many people generally watch Raw and things like that, even in these trying times. But still, this is pretty depressing. It was embarrassing, and now it's depressing. It was embarrassing for the company that hashtag trended and so many people canceled. It would be depressing for us, the fans, if there's mostly legitimacy to this claim that that more people actually subscribed, which I don't know. It's very fishy to me. It's very fishy. I mean,
You want to talk about nepotism, some of stuff going on with media and stuff. We have a lazy freaking news media in this country. Just plain and simple.
Because they're not reporting on wrestling?
No.
They have better things to do.
Taking this thing at face value.
Of course they are.
They're not going
to described it here instead of looking at the full.
Well, let's just assume for a second.
Go ahead, Omega.
True. That Roman Reigns, for example, being voted Superstar of the Year was legitimate. Well, let's assume for a moment this happens to be true, and despite the rampant cancellation of the network, that many more people actually subscribed on Sunday and Monday, whether it was to view the Rumble, whether it was to view how bad it was, whatever. Assuming that's true, and they did get this miraculous surge up.
Still working out things, so here is Wade Barrett reading Goodnight Moon.
This is Wade Barrett reading Goodnight Moon. In the great screaming moon, there was a telephone, and a red balloon, and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting in chairs, and 2 little...
Yank 'em.
Okay, so you guys didn't even notice I was gone, apparently.
We did.
Of course we did.
Well, I came back on the air before I managed to get back in here, so I thought the people who probably aren't listening anyway, so it's not like it really mattered, but I played Wade Barrett reading Goodnight Moon, so they didn't have to hear me cussing trying to get back into TeamSpeak. We are live on the air, though, so say hello to the listeners.
Okay.
Hello, listeners.
Yes, we are. We were just actually debating and saying that Dolph Ziggler is going to be in a meaningless multi-man match and complaining about the poor state of the undercard. I knew this WrestleMania was going to be bad as soon as I found out it was going to be in San Francisco. It's in San Francisco.
Oh, let's not go there.
It's in San
Anyway,
Francisco.
next news bit.
All right, if I may, it seems that Velvet Sky, who got the fired case and Feaster fired last week, is legitimately gone from TNA as her contract has expired. Apparently, TNA did not choose to renew it. Several people, including Bully Ray and Velvet herself, have expressed disdain over this. Former knockout Sarita Stock turned down an offer from Lucha Underground because she recently returned to CMLL, and they don't allow their talents to compete for Lucha Underground. Another former knockout, Tara, otherwise known as Lisa Marie Varon, appeared on the Ross Report to discuss her time in TNA, and some of the highlights include that she found out about a pay-per-view booking via Twitter before she had been sent any travel itinerary. She paid out of pocket to do promotion for TNA in Chicago via her restaurant, the Squared Circle, and was upset when TNA sent posters featuring another knockout. She found out that the roster had at one point been asked to promote another pizza place as the best in Chicago. And when she told Dixie Carter about these things, Dixie merely replied, "Yeah, I heard." She also mentioned that she told Bruce Pritchard at one point that the day she quit TNA would be the day she punched Dixie in the face, and Bruce apparently told her that she'd be doing them all a big favor.
Wow.
I wish that had happened.
There's so much salt in there that I'm not terribly surprised that, she seemed to have this way. There's so much salt in there that and Dixie is so completely two-faced. I can completely understand and see this being the real thing. Why do wrestling promoters have to be such scumbags?
I don't know. It's the thing with promoters. It's something DNA or something.
I don't think they're all. I don't think I've ever heard anything bad about. Well, you said wrestling promoters, so I just assumed you meant. As a general rule, yes, they do seem to be all scumbags. Hashtag not all promoters.
Well, I think in the case of some independent promotions, maybe it's a certain lack of care.
Scruples?
In general, if they steal from wrestlers, for example, people will, obviously wrestling fans will care, but the big picture, you can't necessarily go to the police and say, he owes me $200, that kind of thing. Whereas with someone like Dixie Carter, I think as a businesswoman, she's rather a failure. She doesn't really know how to run a business well. A lot of it is she's been put into a position that she didn't necessarily earn, and as such, she makes decisions that someone in that position who earned it might feel entitled to make. And that's when you get things like nepotism and such. Things like, sort of a disconnect where she says something like, "Yeah, I heard," as if to say that, she didn't have anything to do with it. It was her company that did it. She's the boss, but of course she had nothing to do with the act. So
I feel every time we should say the secret word or something, we should get like an alarm bell or something like. And now all of a sudden my sound not working.
Thank God. That's horrible news.
I know, isn't it? And you know what else is some horrible news? WWE had several people backstage at the Royal Rumble, including Chris Jericho and Nikolai Volkov, hoping to trick internet fans with their names being leaked. However, none of them did. Several changes were made to the Rumble match as the pay-per-view was going on, and names like Bo Dallas, Alex Riley, and Randy Orton, who were scheduled to be in the match, were pulled. Bubba Ray Dudley's appearance at the Royal Rumble was merely a one-time deal, though he seems to be open and appearing again for the WWE in the future. Titus O'Neil was supposed to at least tie Santino Marella's 1-second elimination record, but the timing was off.
Fuck them for trying to do that to Titus O'Neil. Just fuck them.
seems to be off. Everything with the primetime player seems to be off. Yeah.
What is that supposed to mean? He's actually sharing a record with the Bushwhacker and I think Jim Duggan and a few other people. And it's actually a cooler bracket to be in than the Santino one.
Oh, I remember Bushwhacker Luke. He came into the ring, got clotheslined, went right out of the ring, never stopped his freaking Bushwhacker marching right there. It was perfect timing, just brilliant.
It was kind of funny how they actually wanted the news to get out, and of course none of it did. I didn't hear one about Jericho actually being backstage or anything. Triple H had him. That Volkov was backstage in sort of a jokey moment.
I'm a little bit disappointed that we got Bubba Ray, but we did not get
Steve-O.
Yeah.
Who was not backstage, I hear.
Right. R-Truth is, I mean, he's not even a poor man's Devon, let's be honest.
It was pretty fun, though. I mean,
he is a former TNA.
It was okay. I liked it. I just, it's not the same.
Miz took a whole bunch of shoulder. He kind of came down awkwardly. I was expecting him to have a smashed nose.
Oh, there was.
He's probably got
awkward hittance in that Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of jokey moments and awkwardness, here's some highlights from that Eric Bischoff-Bruce Pritchard debate that happened the afternoon of the Rumble, which apparently started Dave and Buster's. You should try their Corona Rita.
Olé.
Apparently it started late due to moderator Chris Jericho finishing his lunch, but some of the highlights. Randy Savage. It was said Randy Savage was extremely drunk the morning he called Vince McMahon to quit WWF. Road Warrior Hawk is actually the person who came up with the Doink the Clown character. Vince McMahon really only wanted Scott Hall to stay in 1996 and didn't care about Nash leaving. There was an idea in late 97 to have Hulk Hogan return as the leader of D-Generation X, believe it or not, passing the torch and the title to Steve Austin at WrestleMania 14. Also, Bischoff appeared on Talk is Jericho to promote the event and said the one regret he has from the Monday Night Wars was not letting DX into the arena when they invaded Nitro.
You think they would have came in?
That would have been a horrible idea.
They would have gotten the shit kicked out of them.
No.
Exactly.
Because because Vince would have sued the shit out of him for harming his performers.
Well,
it would have been a horrible.
Well, not if they were let in. They wouldn't be trespassing if they were let in, I guess.
Right, exactly. If they let them in and then beat the shit out of them, that would be assault. But it would have been a horrible idea to let them in anyway, because then you'd have been showing all your WCW fans how awesome DX was, and then they would have been like, well, fuck, why am I still watching Hogan strut around in his fucking girdle when I could be watching this instead? Just saying.
Imagine Austin Hogan at WrestleMania 14. 14, mind you.
I just... no. No.
18 was weird enough, you know?
Yeah, but I kind of liked it.
I think even by 97, Hogan was...
Really. Hogan was what?
Trash, garbage, Not any good anymore. Should have been nothing more than...
It's like 4chan. He was never good.
That's not true.
Hi there, Moot. Hi.
Okay, given that he was never like a wrestler's wrestler, as, you know, a brawler, fan favorite guy, he wasn't... Hogan. Hogan wasn't the worst. And I can't believe I'm saying that.
Well,
but I mean, he was where Cena is now. I'm sure in his prime, Hogan could have busted out, you know, however many more wrestling moves he actually had in his repertoire. But apparently there's a certain point where they say, okay, you need to stop doing stuff and work safe so I can make more money off of you.
Well, don't forget that the legendary Gorilla Monsoon himself said Hulk Hogan didn't know the difference between a wrist lock and a wristwatch. But as far as that goes, Hogan, anything interaction with Stone Cold in a professional wrestling ring, I thought that would have been amazing. But that's just my fanboyishness talking there.
Speaking of fanboyishness, this is our last little news bit here before we get into the 15-minute time limit. The Big Show told the Dallas radio show that he once found Mark Henry hunched over in the locker room, and he thought he was crying. But he was actually sweating profusely from trying to tear a quarter in half. Lucha star Laredo Kid had a tryout last week before Raw. The new season of Tough Enough is expected to do live eliminations and a segment like American Idol. The Melts says that the WrestleMania logos are no longer numbered due to Vince McMahon thinking it makes the event seem quote-unquote old.
You mind running that by, say, Paul Tagliabue or whoever the hell else is running the NFL right now? Let him tell you about tradition and good stuff like that, Vince. And maybe something might seep in.
Yeah, let's ask the NFL about tradition and honor. Yeah, that's a good place to go for that.
Whose Super Bowl logo is what? The Lombardi Trophy in front of the arena now for the past 6 years.
And I think your hopes are a little inflated there, Chester.
Vince's ego, but
I'm a little more flabbergasted at the idea of Mark Henry trying to tear a quarter in half with his bare hands. I assume it's his bare hands. Otherwise, you know, it wouldn't really have been worth mentioning if he was using tools. But Jesus fucking Christ. It doesn't say if he was successful, but I have to imagine that quarter was a mangled mess. Be able to. No one should be able to do that. I'm afraid of anyone being able to do that, because if you can just tear a quarter in half, the amount of finger strength you have, you could just crush someone's bones between your fingers. That's insane.
All is in the mist, baby.
Well, I would assume there would be a lot of leverage involved, and there would be a lot of actual, malleable sorts of things to do to actually be able to open it. I mean, leverage is the whole reason why you can tear a phone book in half. It's not, your pure strength or whatnot. It just seems. I want to know, did he do it? That's my big thing. Did he actually do it?
I hope not. It's just it's a horrifying thought.
I don't think he did.
I don't think that's humanly possible.
Oh.
I mean, maybe after bending it for a while back and forth, he could weaken the metal enough to cause it to be
tear.
Weak enough to where he could tear, but not like if he just had the quarter and he wasn't like bending it back and forth to weaken the metal and was just straight up tearing it. That is horrifying.
Alright, speaking of horrifying things, let's start the 15. Sounds better. 15-minute time limit this week. We're going to be talking about the Chikara special, actually, that's coming up. Chikara is starting its new season coming here, isn't it, Omega?
Actually, they had their season premiere on the afternoon of a certain event, which shall remain nameless.
Royal Rumble results. Tyson Kidd
now, what did I just say?
And defeated the New Day in the pre-show. Anybody watch this match?
I didn't watch the first 4 matches because of work, so it's all you.
Well, I guess I did, and it was a very good match, actually. It was Kid and Cesaro and Rose come out wearing brass ring club t-shirts, matching shirts.
That was just kind of funny. This match was alright. I liked it. It was what it was. It worked, and that's all you really need to say about it. But the next match, I didn't see either. The Ascension defeated the New Age Outlaws.
Well, how bad of a squash was that? Was it any good? Did the Outlaws get
It was a
any
back and
offense?
forth. Back and forth.
Good.
It wasn't anything special. I mean, it was a back and forth, but then at some point, the Ascension kind of threw the dog and hit the Fallen Man.
It was exactly what you would expect it to have been. Mostly, the Road Dogs the Outlaws rather come out strong, and then the Ascension turn the tables and eventually win over the older and not currently active wrestlers.
Well, at least this wasn't a squash. It put the Ascension in a better light than they have been doing by defeating these jobbers every week.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's a little something.
The Ascension versus the Dudleys for the next pay-per-view. And then
Yes!
the rumor would be the Ascension versus the APA for WrestleMania.
Would JBL come out of retirement?
Both of them would, yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Immortal
He does it all the time. As long as he can get his cufflinks off. Nedjester is roboting.
Me?
Everyone is roboting.
Well, fuck.
I don't hear it.
Anyways, so it was a okay match, standard, WWE tag team thing. It was fine. Next match was the Usos retained the tag team champs in Miz.
This was a pretty hot match at the start, leading to Mizdow finally getting in, but then it just sort of ended. I think the Usos. I kind of forget how it ended now, but I remember it being very sudden, and they kind of clipped the Miz and just pinned him, or Mizdow, that is.
Yep, and it was a basic throwaway match.
Yeah, it's time to
interesting.
It's time to split Mizdow off.
We'll get to it.
And let him.
We'll get to it. Bella Twins defeated Paige and Natalya.
Another
continuing their reign of terror.
Yeah, another rather lame effort. The whole story of this match was Paige kept screaming for Natalya tag. She never did get it.
Right. Well, but it wasn't Natty's fault. They were doing a really good tag team job of keeping Natalia away from her corner. So it wasn't like Natalia was too proud to. Right.
She got pinned. That's what happened.
So I'm guessing this is going to lead towards, you wouldn't tag me, you think you're such hot shit, and then they're feuding or whatever, and then the Bellas go back to doing whatever it is that the Bellas do, and that'll be that.
Usually it's just be whores, but we will find out later on. Anyway, we have a match of the night, which is Brock Lesnar retaining the World Heavyweight Championship against John Cena and Seth Rollins. This was a bloodbath.
Match of the night.
What I mean is,
not just that, this is an early contender for match of the year.
Well, I mean, we're only 20-something days in. I mean, you could call it match of the year right now, but
Nakamura, let's put it this way, Nakamura and Ibushi put on a better match, for sure. But this match is very good.
Show of hands, who's seen Nakamura versus Kukadashi?
Wrestle Kingdom match.
Okay, so I'm the minority here. I'm just saying, I don't know. For WWE, it's match of the year so far.
Sure. Well, this is what a really good main event should be. It was very familiar in many elements. They did that spot once again where Cena speared Lesnar through the timekeeper's wall, and they had the stretcher spot where Lesnar got carted out only to return all of a sudden and win the thing, kind of reminiscent of last year's WrestleMania main event. But then there were also different things to it. You had Lesnar. I mean, anytime Lesnar's in there, he's just dominating the other two. You had multiple suplexes. You had multiple AAs. You had, of course, that beautiful Phoenix splash by Seth Rollins toward the end.
The even better killer elbow drop from the top rope that Seth is known for these days. He Survivor Series 2012, I think it was, and look at that, or TLC 2012 or 2013, one of the two, and it was the crazy ladder spot at the end there. I mean, he took that bump through those tables, and it was amazing. But if you're looking at Seth Rollins at this point, this match put Seth Rollins into the main event and secured him there for a long time. This is really good because they needed another main event. Now, with the result, I would like to propose a question to you that Reddit believes to be true. Is there going to be a double swerve?
Wait.
No.
In what way?
Wait. Double swerve?
What do you mean?
A double turn.
No. I'm not sure what you...
Roman Reigns joins the Authority. Then they kick out Rollins. Rollins cashes in Money in the Bank on Reigns.
No.
No.
Emphatically no.
No, I think that's too much of a conspiracy theory.
I mean, it would be kind of cool, but
this time around, I don't think there's going to be any triple threat. I don't think there's going to be...
I'm not saying there's going to be a triple threat. I'm saying that at the end of the match, after the match is completed and Roman has won, if Roman wins of the Authority, he sides with the Authority.
The most you can hope for is that Rollins becomes the first person to cash in after the main event of WrestleMania and wins it and ruins his big moment, and there's your sort of feud to carry us through the summer. That's the most you can hope for.
That doesn't seem right. That he would be the first to cash in at the main event of WrestleMania, and
it is right.
It would be the first time, yes. Every year people have sort of, I mean, especially when the itself happened at WrestleMania, people have been thinking that could happen, and it never did.
Huh. I could have swore it had, but I guess not. Well,
if I may comment on the Rumble match itself, and just sort of state the obvious here. What a terribly... Apparently they panicked and changed things around. And we know certain people, they shuffled who was in and who wasn't. But whatever they did, I mean, god-awful from top to bottom. I mean, Brian... It's not even about Brian. That's the thing. It's not even about Brian getting eliminated, as horrible as that was, and as much as it completely turned the crowd for 15 men, 15 entries to come. It was the fact that, you know, you had all of these big-name players, Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, even Wyatt, who they kept making such a big how long he'd been in the match. And the last 5, 7, 8, whatever minutes of the match was all authority. That's the stupid authority storyline. Kane and Show teaming to just, you know, knockout punch, dump a guy out, choke slam, dump a guy out, you know. And these are big name guys, including Dolph Ziggler.
Cesaro.
And then you have this whole, you dump Ambrose out, and that's when the crowd, you can hear an audible rise in the boos as they realize what's about to happen. And by the way, Roman Reigns did get booed. He did not get cheered. He was not celebrated.
This was the
when he came
mix.
out.
There's no mix of people like, you know, chanting yay or boo.
It was not a
an
scene
entire
reaction.
chorus of boo. It was an entire chorus of boo.
And
It was foolish.
Were they saying boo earns?
Yeah.
Oh, let's not go with that meme that was making the rounds after
like
the Rumble.
Reigns,
Parades.
Roman.
It was foolish of them to let Brian come back and be part of that Rumble if they did not intend for him to win.
Well, and that's the thing. He did not have to win. I maintain he did not have to win. I understand why Roman is the guy in their eyes. I understand why I accept it. I would have bet any amount of money that Roman was winning that match. Just the blatant decisions that were made. I don't know, first of all, how you don't make Roman and Brian the final two, or at the very least, have Brian be
here's the thing
final
with that.
four.
I'll answer that question immediately. It's because they want to keep them separate. Now, this further goes into the other theory of what's going on. That's, which is the, oh god, there's going to be a double swerve at WrestleMania thing. So you keep them away from the top, as far away from Roman as you can. It's too obvious of a thing to, it's impossible for Roman not to be booed, basically, in that particular circumstance.
I guess that's a fair explanation, but I will say that the icing on the cake was the whole Rusev. Oh my god, Rusev! I'm checking my notes. He was never eliminated. Roman Reigns going to the Rumble or WrestleMania. I mean,
Yeah, that was pretty.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Rusev should have won there. Rusev should have won there.
Yeah.
He should have taken the ball, and he should have won. And they could have stripped the U.S. title from him. I don't care, but he should have won right there.
Why would they need to strip the U.S. title from him?
it was just a stupid thing to do after already basically making Roman win. And also, and again, as we get into the final minute here, again, The Rock for the 6th year in a row, something like that, to save WrestleMania. They need him once again to divert their own horrible decisions that they know are going to be received badly.
Save WrestleMania and his own cousin, yes.
Nepotism, ladies and gentlemen. Nepotism.
Well, my word is unceremonious. You know, it's not a ceremony for Roman to win. It's not a ceremony for Bryan and those other guys to be dumped out of the ring as they were. I mean, there was nothing ceremonious about the Rumble. It was interesting when it was happening because you didn't know what was going to happen, obviously. But what did? It was just insult after insult.
And that's time.
I didn't hear that. Oh, okay.
Sorry. Okay, so that's it for the 15-minute silent.
Shout out to the boogeyman.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes, I did like that. Although
Who doesn't?
I hated that he just again comes out, does the dance, gets dumped.
I'm perfectly fine with that because that's all he needs to do. All right, guys, I'm hungry.
Well,
I am a little peckish.
I'm up for dessert.
I'm sure that's the only breast that you've ever had.
Yeah.
But let's go Dairy Queen drive-through. Yankum, hit those ratings.
All right, so for Impact what is it on now? Friday? It's on Friday, right? Friday night's Impact on Destination America continues to rise. Last Friday's episode was our average 517,000 viewers. A whopping 517,000. That's a whopping 34% increase from the previous week, which drew 387,000. SmackDown averaged 2.814 million viewers. That's up 5% from last week's debut at 2.675 million. And Raw for the 26th, which was the post-Royal Rumble edition of Raw, it scored a 3.28 cable rating, which is up a considerable amount in percent. Jesus Christ, let me remember how to English. In comparison to last week's Go Home show for the pay-per-view, which drew a 3.03, the Raw episode that we saw yesterday, if you're listening to this on Tuesday, was a very unique episode of the show due to the storm resulting in the cancellation of the actual live arena event. It averaged 4.42 million viewers, also up from the previous week's show, which averaged 4.1 million viewers. The hourly viewership breakdown for last night's Raw is as follows. Hour 1, 4.468 million viewers. Hour 2, 4.657 million viewers. Hour 3, 4.135 million viewers. Apparently, if you want good ratings, all you have to do is give your pay-per-view away for free.
Exactly.
With the birthdays net jester.
And with the birthdays, person, place, earth thing. Happy birthday. On the 28th month, we have Billy Bax, Shark Boy, and Seamus. And I think I've already stumbled across my fake name for the week. I might be wrong about that. On the 29th, we have Hardcore Holly. And then on the 30th, we have the legendary Giant Gonzalez. Then on the 31st, we have none. I think that's a wrestler. I don't know. Anyway, on February 1st, we have Dennis Cordray, Nick Mitchell, and Masa Sato. I think I got that right. Then on the 2nd, we have Mr. Prosu himself. Oh, God. Genichiro. Hang on. I'm on this. Genichiro Tenryu. Genichiro Tenryu. Okay. Then on the 3rd of this week, we have none other than Marty Jannetty, Angela Fong, Haku, Dory Funk Jr., Gesundheit, Haku, and the legendary Texas Tornado, one of my personal favorites, Kerry Von Erich.
Just for the record, I'd like to point out that 31st There is not a wrestler that we're aware of named None. That was that there were no birthdays on the 31st, so NJ was supposed to just skip that.
Oh, these jokes fly right over your head like deflated footballs from, what's his name? Bill Belichick.
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, This Week in Wrestling History. So in 1952, where Ivan Novikov and Duke Kiwanuka defeat Miguel and Rito Romero to win the vacant NWA Texas Tag Team title in Houston, Texas. Jump to 1999, where Aaron Cross defeats Steve Flynn in Kingsport, Tennessee for the Wrestling Appalachian Heavyweight title. The same event, Frank Parker and Roger Anderson win their 7th SSW Tag Team title, ending the 4th reign for Bam Bam and Danny Christian. And in 2003, Alexis Lurie, otherwise known as Mickie James, defeats April Hunter and Serena in a 3-way match in Flemington, New Jersey, to become the first Cyberspace Wrestling Federation, later NWA Cyberspace and NWA Shockwave, Women's Champion. And that was This Week in Wrestling History. I said that was This Week in Wrestling History.
I think somebody's gotten their buttons mixed up again.
Damn it, Gunner, you had one job. Now it's time for Happy Trails.
Sorry. I got it.
Happy Trails to Justin Gabriel, who was formally announced for the Royal Rumble and quit WWE this weekend. Although no details are available, he is already booked on this Saturday's PWS event as the Daring Wolf PJ Black.
Is my mic not working? Can you
Yes,
guys hear
it
me?
is.
No, it's still working. I was just talking over the top of you.
With it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you could. That was fine. PJ Black, the Darewolf. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
What should we watch
no.
wrestling? Let's get the taste of that Royal Rumble out of our out of our mouths. Ned Jester.
Well, once again, I'm going to go with what my sister gave me for Christmas, which is 3-disc set, The Life Story of the Dragon, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and pull out a match off of disc 3, and that would be Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Lex Luger from the Great American Battle, July 23rd, 1989. That's a United States Championship match.
Okay, and Yankum. Yankum.
I love how I put Guru Omega next in the chat because I was in the middle of something, and now you're like, well, this is a good time to fuck over Yankum. That's fine. You know what? I'm good with that because I am going to say, go back and watch WrestleMania. I'm sorry, not WrestleMania. Royal Rumble 1990. Gosh, I'm trying to remember.
Three?
No. That one was good. I want to say 98, but it might have been like 99. One of those was really good. I can't remember which one it is. That's why I wanted you to go to Omega, so that you could,
Fine. You can figure that out. Omega BR. What should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, speaking of NWA Cyberspace / Shockwave, there was a 4-way match involving, I think it was in 2006, involving Matt Bentley, Rodney Mack, Bobby Roode, and Mana Polynesian Warrior for the Cyberspace Heavyweight Championship, which was then renamed the Shockwave Heavyweight Championship at Disturbing the Peace 2006, if you can find it.
Found it! It was 98.
Yeah. All right, 98.
Go back and watch the Royal Rumble from 1998 when you had Mick Foley and Dude Love and Mankind all enter the Rumble, and it was fantastic and much better than this year.
You also had NWA the American Champion Jeff Jarrett, accompanied by Jim Cornette.
Huh. Don't remember that. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch it again for sure. Now it's your turn, Gunner.
I've done some deliberating. I know. I'm doing some deliberating, and I've been thinking of a match that you could watch that would be great. And I really hope I get this right. Royal Rumble 2000. There was a wonderful hardcore match actually on the beginning of the show. I'm trying to remember who was in it. I know it was Al Snow. It was for the hardcore title. It might have been hardcore. It might have been call it Crash Holly and Al Snow for the hardcore title, and it was a really good match. God damn. Give me a sec. Yes.
Well, all I can say was better than the last Al Snow match I seen, and that was just this afternoon. I'm gonna shout out to the tubes. Hi, Tama TV, WooTube. We saw the ungodly abomination. That was the match between Darren Drozdoff and Al Snow, the first ever male evening gown match, hardcore, where you had to strip your opponent down to his bra and panties. Oh my good lord and a half.
Yeah, I think he was working
From the past.
I think he was working for Victoria's Secret then as a side job. I hear now he's working for Lazy Boy as a side job, which is weird.
Oh lord.
Nobody?
Went right off the cliff with that one, didn't ya?
Nobody's gonna finish. Because he doesn't sell chairs. Oh, fuckers. Also, that 98 Royal Rumble had Chainsaw Charlie, so...
Scratch that. No. Taz versus Kurt Angle from... that's what it was. Taz versus Kurt Angle from Royal Rumble 2000, because that's when Taz was just coming into the company. And these two actually did a great match. Yes, it was a very good match.
Uh-huh.
All right, I think we've talked too much. It's time for us to go. So we're going to go stew over here in the Roman Reigns crock pot, and just our Jimmy's constantly rustled with the eternal rustler that's on top. But thank you all for listening. We appreciate it. You can check us out on smarksnark.com or Spreaker.com/smarksnark. You can check out our Twitter, twitter.com/smarksnark, facebook.com/smarksnark. Email us at smarksnark@gmail.com. And make sure that you, I think it's booking at smarksnark.com if you are a professional wrestler or a booker or some sort of person in the business that would like to get a little more exposure towards your promotion. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next week. So we wish you well in your past, present, and future endeavors.
And a reminder, have you reined in your Romans today?
Good night, Flemington.